This is the Lockpicking Lawyer, and what I have for you today is a huge antique Russian dual custody padlock. Before I get started on the lock itself, I wanted to thank my Twitter followers who helped me track down this symbol to the company that originally made the lock. It's called the Alexin Plant of Heavy Industrial Valves. It wasn't always called that. This company actually dates back to the early 1700s. And I did some digging on the website and found a relatively detailed history of the company. It's really interesting. The history of this company actually reads like a history of Russia. I'll put a link to that in the description below, but I find it fascinating. This company dates all the way back to making armaments for Russia's war against Turkey, making armaments for the Napoleonic Wars, where the Russians drove off the French invaders to their country, the Russian Revolution, World War I, World War II. This plant actually made some valves that were used in the Chernobyl plant. Talks about the privatization after the fall of the Soviet Union, and even the role of the company today in the oil and gas boom in Russia that's really fueling their economy. They make pretty much the largest industrial valves, and they're found in much of the Russian economy. So, really interesting company. Like I said, I'll put that in the description below. But in all of the history I read, I could find nothing about them making padlocks. So most of what I'm going to say about this is essentially guesswork. Just from the pure crudeness of the manufacture, I'm guessing this dates from before World War II. To operate this lock, what you do is you turn both of the keys counterclockwise. Each key releases one end of the shackle, and then the entire shackle comes out. If we look down in the shackle holes, you can see it's a relatively simple but effective locking mechanism, just a rotating bolt that's directly attached to the core. So we're certainly not going to be shimming this, but picking shouldn't be too much of a problem. Let's take a look at these keys. They're really, really crude looking keys. You can see not made terribly well. Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4 pins on each one of them, and they're differentiated. One has a triangle, one has a circle on it. They're both marked 21, which is the same as what we have marked on the top of the lock. My guess is those stamps were from after manufacture. So let's see what it takes to pick into this. As I noted before, this lock picks counterclockwise, which is the opposite of what we're generally used to. So tensioning is a little bit awkward, and the machining inside of this lock is relatively rough. So any difficulty we have is from the fact that these locks are pretty rough on the inside. Certainly not the smooth movement of pins that you would find in something like a Sargent. So let's put some tension down there, and we're going to get picking. 1 is loose, 2 is binding, got to click there. 3 is binding, got to click there. 4 is binding, but not moving. Okay, got to click out of 4. Let's go back to the beginning. Okay, then we got to click out of 1, and the first side is open. Let's go to the second side. Okay, 1, got a little click there. Click out of 2, little something out of 3, nothing on 4. Back to the beginning. Another click out of 1, click out of 2, nothing on 3. 4 is binding tightly, but not moving. I'm releasing a little bit of tension until he moves. This is one of the problems we have with that really, really rough interior of this lock. And he's still not moving at all. Oh, there we go. I got something out of 4. Back to the beginning. 1. Okay, and the second side is open. Okay, so as you can see, generally speaking, a relatively easy lock to pick. 4 standard pins, relatively crude machining all the way around, crude casting. However, Absolutely a massive lock, over 80 millimeters across, about 35 millimeters thick, a 14 millimeter shackle. I did not check to see if this was hardened because I don't want to be filing on an antique, but certainly an interesting lock. If anyone does know any more about this lock, even just when it was made, I would really appreciate you putting that information in the comments below. I'm really anxious to find out more about this. But that's all I have for you today on this Alexan heavy industrial valve plant padlock. If you have any questions or comments about it, please put them below. If you like this video and would like to see more like it, please subscribe. And as always, have a nice day. Thank you.